Hey, what's up guys? It's Big Collectibles here. I'm your host, Jared Bigelow, and today we're going to be going over how you should start your comic book collection. So let's get right in the video. So a question many of you may have is, how do I start reading comics? Most of you, like myself, would think you should start with volume number 1 of whatever you're trying to get into. For me, an example is I got Spider-Man issue number 1 for the collectible series, which is the Amazing Spider-Man. And with that series, what you can do is find it at like a cheap price since it's a reprint. And so if you can't find a reprint, usually it's going to be $400, $500, and you really don't want to do that. So what you do instead, well, you can pretty much start anywhere. You can go to wherever you get your comics from, buy any issue of what you're looking for, and usually if you know the background story, you're going to be good. And if you don't know the story that you're reading, you can always go on the internet and research whatever you want. Usually you're going to find whatever you need, or whatever origin story or every kind of story you need. So just go to the internet if you don't understand, but in my opinion, you can start anywhere. So after you buy the comics, what do you do with them? There are two options for me personally, one being the display case behind me. That's for another video. I'll explain everything how I did that. If you don't want to display them, that's understandable. What you can do is either put them in a shelving unit or in a box, but be careful because when you do that, you want to put them upright and not stacked on top of each other. And the reason you don't want to stack them is because eventually over time the weight will compress down on them and it'll make a crease along the comic book, which you don't want at all because this makes it look bad and it makes the value decrease a lot, which no one wants. But the value part doesn't matter as much now, but a lot of the looks will just go away. Where do you go buy the comics? I have 3 options to tell you guys. The first one is going to be the internet. Obviously, you can find a ton there at good prices. But for me personally, I've only bought one thing off the internet, and that being from eBay. That's really all I have to tell you guys from that. Next is comic book stores, which I personally think are going to be your guys' best options. What you can find there is usually a lot. You can find most of what you're looking for, and then people there that work there are usually very helpful to help you out on what you want most. The only downside to comic book stores is sometimes they'll be a little bit pricey because they have to pay for the rent of the building, the worker's salary. That's always a downside, but definitely the experience is the best part about going there. It's everything you love in one little spot, and again, the workers are very helpful and they helped me out a lot when I was looking for stuff, so that's a great positive. Next is my personal favorite is flea markets, and the reason why is because you'll find a lot of stuff for a very good price for about $1 each time. And for example, I bought about 10 comics for about $8, which is really good. The downside to flea markets though is you'll never know what you'll find there because it can be a handful of comics to a big stack, and then the numbers are very dismantled and disorganized a lot of the time. Sometimes they aren't though. Sometimes you'll find what you're looking for. But usually when I go there, I buy a whole bunch of random stuff that I would have never read before, which I actually like doing a lot because it makes me realize what else I like to read. So that's a great thing about flea markets. One, the cheap prices, and then the stuff that you never know you would have liked. Well, there's my talk about getting into comics. I hope I helped you guys out a little bit with the beginners. Let me know if you have any questions below. But if you liked the video, go ahead and press the like button, subscribe. But until then, see you next time.